Peace family, it's 19 Keys and this is High Level Conversations. This is an intellectual safe space for dangerous conversations to where we have high level observations and I bring in my guest. Today we're practicing a little social distancing. So my regularly scheduled guests are not here. You understand me? They're being quarantined right now because everybody's afraid. That means that we have a lot to talk about. The world is in a global pandemic. We are in historical times. But I want to make sure before I go any further, introduce my brother once again, Jackhella Classic.
The one and only, outside like trees, big God energy. Oh, what's going on, man?
Check, we shook hands. I gotta go wash my hands.
You better stop playing, man.
Listen, man. What you want to talk about today, man? It's a lot.
You know, it's a lot on the table, man. Let's talk about this virus, man. Let's first hit on it. Let's just dive in, man.
All right, so
let's just dive in.
I mean, we've been talking about this a lot. I've been going deep on my podcast, you know, Crown's 19 Theory, Triple Corona Dimension. Mm-hmm. Now we have 5G being explained. And you know, it's a lot because people are afraid. So let's not even just harp just on the virus, but what's happening around it because of it. We are in a global economic pandemic. You understand me? Right now, we are in a recession. You understand me? This is your garden variety recession right now. And telltale signs are hitting on that D word. You understand me? Depression. You understand me? Now, a depression, that's not good.
It's not good.
We haven't lived in a depression. We lived in a recession. A depression, you know what I mean? That's what I learned about in history class in the 30s when, you know, people really was rationing food and it was really bad. Poverty was at its all-time, you know what I mean, high. And so people are wondering right now, will there be martial law? What is martial law? What does it look like? What does our future trade with China look like? Will it be the same? Me, I think that the world will never be the same after this.
I wanted to ask you, where do you feel that we are most unprepared for these type of situations? Like, you know, these crises that we're going through right now. Like, because a lot of people are grocery shopping. A lot of people, you know, just don't expect for something like this to happen because there's so much trust in the government and how they run things. But where do you feel like, you know, we need to get in shape on? You know, some of the areas that we need to be more proactive on and having more of a solution when times like these arise?
There's a lot that we are unprepared for. I don't think we prepared at all, actually. You understand me? Mentally, spiritually, financially. Right now, they're using this word, this social distancing thing, meaning that me and you really not supposed to be this close because they said that it travels throughout the air. This is interesting because the way we got conscious is because of social communication, like everybody having that intercommunication, that interacting to where we're able to share ideas and we expand beyond the things that's told in our households. We break traditions, indoctrinations, and we get to expand our consciousness. Now, the danger of this idea of social distancing is the fact that I see a lot of the leaders socially distancing themselves. Everybody wants to be the hero right now. Nobody wants to communicate and say, how do we come together and how do we build something? How do we get in front of this? Because this is the 19-year anniversary of 9/11. That was the last time that our generation faced fear. You understand me? Where we felt it real. Not even the recession. You understand me? But that 9/11 had everybody shaking because they didn't know what was happening. This was the first time big bad America so-called got hit by those 19 hijackers. Now, of course, we don't believe that's the way it turned out. But we understand that, you know, there's a common consensus of society who still believes in the government.
You know,
so hold on, I want to say this because as we find ourselves in this 19 year later, I mean, a lot of people are really unprepared mentally to deal with any type of anxiety, any type of stress. It rots the brain from thinking properly. Right. And this is the issue that we're going to have because you have a lot of emasculated men. You understand me? And a lot of masculine females. You understand me? And that imbalance of who we are doesn't allow us to come together properly in our roles. So there's a lot of women during the times of martial law, they're supposed to feel like they have somebody around them that can protect them.
Right.
This is going to make women feel, especially in times of fear, like no, they want masculine energy around them to protect them.
Right.
Because they feel vulnerable. So I think that where we are most vulnerable at is our lack of family structure and our lack of balance of our masculine and feminine energies that allow us to be within our roles, especially if you can consider this to be war times.
You know, it's a lot of conspiracies behind it. You know, the government planned this, or China sent this over, or North Korea sent this over. Now, from an intellectual standpoint, based off the history of the government just lying to us, you know, from 9/11, from, you know, various situations that just too fishy to even, you know, say that this is just standard knowledge and we should just take into account everything that the government tells us. So from your observation, you know, you a thought leader. What do you feel is a critical, you know, all around observation that, you know, needs to be brought to the attention?
I mean, anytime that you judging a virus or disease, you have to go through protocol. Number one is observation, two is hypothesis. Right now, people are collecting data so that they can have an educated guess. There's a lot of things that's being circled around. Panicking, hysteria, and there's not enough fact checking, right? So right now, people are wondering why is all the CEOs stepping down? Why is Bill Gates stepping away from Microsoft?
I saw that.
Why is, I don't even know the thing about Oprah and her house and Tom Hanks, pedophile, and Prime Minister being served by the U.S. for financial crimes is even real. We don't know, we see black celebrities, right, get tested positive for the COVID-19, but we don't see them exhibit any symptoms, meaning that we don't see any actually coronavirus.
You know, we
right?
immune, man.
All we hear is their word, and these people are actors. So it's like, why should we believe you? You're in the entertainment industry. If your government comes to you and say, look, we need you as a crisis actor, you know what I mean? And we need your help. Look, people out there panicking. A lot of people are going to get killed. A lot of people are not going to take this serious. So we need people they look up to. Can we count on you as a civil servant to do your duty as a patriot for the United States of America? Can you do this? Can you say that? And of course, Idris is not from the U.S., but his government as well. So the question becomes is, what do we believe based on what we see, and how much of it should we think for ourselves and collect our own data as far as what the conclusion is?
So you telling me that they, you know, it's crisis actors out here, basically? You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, there's false flags that go back. This is real life stuff. Like false flags go back, you know what I mean, through Hitler. You know, he was the king of the false flags to get his people in line, to spark that fear so they'd take whatever was coming next. Rockefeller said that it's going to take a disaster in order to get people to accept the New World Order. The New World Order could be the ID 2020. It can be the RFID chips that they want to put in people. It could be vaccinations. You understand me? It can be the implementation of this 5G, taking people's security away completely. And it can be even the getting away from money to where there's a cashless society and the banks have the central system for currency, cryptocurrency. So, I mean, there's many different things that you can look at to be like, what is this all about, right? So what we know from an individual perspective is that everything is changing around us. And I would caution everybody to not get so much deep involved into even the why, but to figure out what you can do. You understand me? And the what is really tightening down on your security. The what is reading the books of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, activating your immune system, eating the right food, surrounding yourself with the right people, having emergency plans and kits. You understand me? Now, what is martial law? If it's going to come, then we should prepare ourselves if that's a possibility. You understand me? Now, martial law was enacted around, what was it, 1876, right? So, not martial law, but Passe Comitatus, which is an act which forbids the military involvement in domestic law enforcement without congressional approval. So Article 1, you understand me? Yeah. Section 9, that's why I found my 19 in there. Habeas corpus, habits that corpus dealing with the body. So corpus is your body. Basically, they can command your body.
Yes, sir.
You understand me? Under military law. And they don't have to basically have a reason. And you don't have the ability to say habeas corpus to where you can go to a court and have just do as why they are detaining you in the first place. You don't have that. Now it goes into military law, it can go into military court. Abraham Lincoln enacted this when he wanted the Union to have power to where he can arrest people and they can conduct court. So in military times, you're basically seceding all the power away from the courts, and it's going to the military. So during that time, you essentially don't have rights. You understand me? They can do whatever they want to with you. So that's the time that you really want to understand what's going on, properly plan with your family, have your emergency set up. You understand me? Know the ins and outs and routes of your city. Because I seen a meme that was floating around. I can't verify if it's true or not, but they were saying that it came from ABC out there in Philly, saying that the Philly police had sent the email saying that there's certain low crimes that they don't want the police to bother people with and arresting them. You understand me? Someone was theft, possession, and other different things. Now, by putting that information out there, why would you want that information out there? Even as a news story, you want to break that and you live in Philly, or maybe you don't. So, because now it encourages crime. So now it could be a setup. You don't know if that's real. These cats can just be running out there in the street. So that's why it's dangerous as people with platforms like myself and other people that spread this information. You're spreading it, and then whose mind are you tapping into that look at that and say, oh shit, today is the perfect day to commit a crime?
Some people look at you just as valid as the news.
Yeah, so it's like, but think how they being influenced. A young cat on the street just seen that, oh shit, you telling me that I can break in somebody's house right now? You telling me that I can rob somebody? You understand me? You telling me that I can have my drugs out? Now, you don't know if this is a setup. You don't know if every cop got that memo. They lock your ass up. This is the worst time you want to be locked up. But why would you put out something that encourages crime? See, now, if you tell people to self-quarantine, they don't listen, then what comes next? Enforcement. Military enforcement, because they have to contain this thing because it's so-called spreading. Right. Even though last year over 19 million people from the CDC said that 19 million people got sick between 19 and 2020. You understand me? Now, we haven't hit those epic proportions yet. You know what I mean? So we ask ourselves based off intellect, if it hasn't hit as worse as the influenza, then why the hell are we taking all these precautions right now? Is there something more insidious behind it? I just want people to question reality always. Because after 9/11, shit changed, and after this, it won't be the same.
Yeah, I feel like it's deeper than this,
Yeah.
It's it's a bunch of theories I could throw around in there, but everybody.
What's your theory? I want to hear this.
Mine's is, like you said, there's an agenda afterwards. There's going to be something that's going to be implemented behind all of this to sort of, to put in a proactive plan for the next time. There's going to be laws that's going to be implemented. Okay, you can only do this just in case this ever arises again. So it's the seatbelt, in order for things to go smoothly, into the next occasion.
I agree with that. Right now we see money being thrown around. Facebook said that they giving their 45,000 employees $1,000. Now, even though that, a lot of these people make, $200 and some $1,000 upward, but they saying it's because they got to work from home and it basically take care of those expenses that go out the way because of this pandemic. And we seen Donald Trump say he's going to be giving citizens $1,000 or more. Now, I haven't seen this in my lifetime. I don't think my parents seen this in my lifetime, to where we seen them just giving out money like this. You understand me? Now, of course, they did liquidity injections already for banks, and they supposed to be rolling out stimulus packages.
Where does money coming from?
They printing it. And when you print that much money, put in circulation, it causes inflation. You understand me? So this is where you start to see the economy mess up. But had they, the question you ask yourself is, why are they doing it, especially so early in these stages? It must be because they ran the numbers already, and they know we hitting depression levels. Because the economy is tanked. Amazon is holding thousands or hundreds of thousands of products that they're not shipping out. That means businesses are not getting their products to customers. You understand me? Supply chains can't come from China to service all the American customers. Businesses are really going down. All of the events that was going to happen, that they had to cancel, those are billions and billions of dollars in revenue and jobs that can't be replaced. And some of those events can't be replaced. They're one time per year. You understand me? That's a lot of money, and the American economy won't be able to see. So now we at this point to figure out, okay, how are we going to fix this?
That's hot stuff.
Everything just derailed. It's 2020. Nobody had the vision to see it.
So there has to be something that backs the dollar, or else the currency is going to change altogether. It's pretty much what I'm looking at, right? It's going to be a currency exchange, meaning that the dollar is going to have to turn into something else behind this, because it's going to take a while, like you said, before the economy to balance itself back out. Like even if it was to happen like right now.
Well, I mean, I would say more so. I mean, that's where you can, you can go into cashless. You know what I mean? You can go into cryptocurrency and things of that nature. But more importantly, we talked about, I've been talking about all week, is for people need to be able to see opportunities. People need to be able to see with a different lens. Beyond the insidious agendas that's going on around you. For one, if you got the next 2 weeks, the next month, the next 40 days, because quarantine means 40 days, when you break it down and you understand it comes from the old Italian or Venetian word referring to a mandate during the time, similar plague, which was demanded all ships wait before entering the ports. So to me, we got 40 days. You understand me? Now, Trump went on their TV and he fumbled and said that it's going to be into August or whatever. He don't really know. So, I've gotten word that it's going to be national shutdowns. You understand me? I'm not sure if that means airports. Right now, we already in a shutdown to where you can't go into a restaurant and eat. Starbucks has adopted the in and out model where you can't sit down in there. So we see grocery store lines increasing around the corner. You understand me? They mellowing out a little bit right now because a lot of people done got their groceries, quite frankly.
Worst case scenario, on a scale 1 to 10, myself personally, I'm thinking it's going to hit something like a 9 to 10, But what do you think that can happen at the worst case scenario, the worst thing that can possibly happen in North America not right now, but I'd say about 2 months down the line if things keep going at the way that they're going. Rations run out, the banks, they get, fully, just everything gets taken out, right? Mm-hmm. The money gets taken out, the food gets taken out, the health care gets taken out because it's just too much overflow. Can't handle it, can't keep up with the demands of spending or buying, none of those things, right? What is your I want to say theory, but that sounds too much like a conspiracy.
Well, I would say it like this. Imagine, this post-coronavirus society where everybody are chipped. You know what I mean? 5G is everywhere, and every time your phone communicates to this, communicates to that, even if it's not on you, you have a complete bioscan, biometrics. They know exactly who you are. You have complete no privacy. They follow us the same way they do in the UK. You understand me? Where they got CCTV every single where, even in from when you go to the bar to the airport, they had documentation on you, period. You understand me? So complete elimination of all sense of security at all. Not only that, you looking at mandatory vaccination to be able to travel. You understand me? So right now they're doing a Real ID Act, so you got to make sure you get the Real ID in order to be able to travel domestically after October. Now, what if they say because of screening practices, we have to make sure that everybody is screened before they get on here. Now, the screening, you understand me, could be basically if you test positive, you got to get the vaccination. Don't get the vaccination, you can't travel. You understand me? Now, each state has the ability to possibly close their borders. You understand me? Each state to state saying that, no, you can't be in this city, blah, blah, blah. So if you want to freely move around, all you got to do is get the vaccination and get one of the tracker chips and you good to go. This is to make sure everybody is safe. You understand me? So that's something that they could say. Now, what does this do? It gives them way too much power and control than we ever want them to have.
You think the state's going to be taking back the power?
I can't make or levy a guess on that one, but we already live in the divided states of America. They can't come together with a common consensus to create a plan and strategy for the people all over. One city said they're shutting down this way. Another city says they're shutting down this way. And this actually makes it worse, you understand me? Because unless there's a national plan and everybody get on board, it's much harder to keep this thing in control if it's as real as they say.
All right, well, let me ask you this. What does this look like for black people and specifically?
As it always has been. You know what I mean? To us, we've been through so much stress that this is almost laughable to us. You understand me? Unless that is right in our face, unless Michael Jordan got it, I've seen KD got it. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's somebody like for one, we gotta see the symptoms. We gotta see somebody coughing
we are
and dying, and we like, all right, I get it. You know what I mean? My uncle just got it.
Yeah, we got. Our relatives got to get sick before we jump ship and realize like, oh snap, it's going down.
Yeah, but for black people, man, same old thing. We are unprepared people. We don't plan for the future, and that's why our future is planned by someone else. So in the African, language, I always say there's not too many words for near future. You understand me? We're not a very planning people. We're very spiritual people. We're very in the present when we're in tune with ourselves. So for us, this is going to be a disruption of our spirit. For one, we already behind in wealth. A lot of us, some of us have money right now, and they telling right now no tax cuts right now, or not tax cuts, but they're deferring the taxes to later on. And you understand me? So people are feeling okay.
Right.
But during pandemonium, we have the crowd mind, and it's very emotional, and our mind has been studied, right? So without family structure, this further pushes us back without a future. Without a plan, we don't have a future, we don't have more wealth. So this further pushes us at the bottom, you understand me? And each other culture around us has more family ties, you understand me? And they can build more progressively. So it really just keeps us where we are. And it halts our progress that we've been making to try to get to some point. You understand me? Now, the black man and black woman in America, those are the ones that you want to keep down the most, because those are the ones that really threaten, you know what I mean, your society. Those are the ones that really threaten this white patriarchal intellect, this white supremacy over here. So you really want to make sure that you don't allow them to progress too far.
Yeah.
You understand me? At any point, and you want to make sure that there is no black messiah.
Yeah, I believe 2020 is a great year of opportunity, even in the form of crisis. I believe that this is a great year for black people to, get up on a power scale a little bit. Even if it's just a small percentage or two. But I feel like on the end of these, on the back end of this, the turnout, I feel like this is a great opportunity. So what does that look like in the form of financial opportunity? What could black people do to gain a little bit more of a financial independence,
Well, I would say right now, if you have time, then you should take that time and work on your craft and your goals, your dreams, ideas, and get you some knowledge. That's the best way to improve your value as a citizen, as a person. You understand me? Each person, right now, I remember when I was working a job, right? And I got into a fight. You understand me? I'm wearing a fresh Prada suit. I'm outside downtown. You was there. You understand me? I'm outside downtown Oakland.
Brother Key is crazy.
We
man.
got into it because you walked up. It was Friday. And it was first Friday in Oakland downtown, and bro was tripping with me. He told me to get up out of seat. I said, bro, you whatever. Anyway, skip past, make a short story. And I got up, I handled my business. I whopped him up real quick.
We whopped him up,
he got all the mop action. I went full janitor. The janitor keep all the keys. You know what I'm talking about? So after I unlocked that ass whooping on him, I realized that I had a fracture. You understand me? A boxer's fracture. I didn't know until I went to the hospital, and they was like, bro, it's broken. You got to get surgery. So that's when I told my job, like, yo, I got to go to the doctor. I went to the doctor. You understand me? They said they go put a cast on it. And then my job said, well, do you want to do disability? I said, disability? What's that? I got that. And come to find out, I got like $40,000, $50,000 saved up for disability. So they paid me out while I was working, basically giving me the same amount of money as if I would have been working. Yeah. And so I'm feeling comfortable, so I want to push this as far as I can go. So I'm asking how long it can go. It could be 3 to 6 months away. I'm like, really? You know what I'm saying? So the point of that is, though, when I was out and I wasn't working that job and I had been so consistent at working the job, I'm happy as hell. Because I forgot what freedom felt like. I forgot what it was like to have this much time. So I put that time to so much productivity because it allowed me to work on my brand at that time. And so I was working on my brand, getting so many different things done. And I was like, nah, I don't want to go back. And there's going to be so many people during this time that have a lot of free time that they've never had before. Allow them to get back into a natural state and rhythm. And this is the time that you should be working on your dream. This is the time when you have a little more time to finish writing that book. This is that time you got a little more time to finish working on those goals. You understand me? To empower yourself with some knowledge and some information. You understand me? That's going to help you best succeed.
Yeah.
This is not the time where you wait to get that $1,000 check and think what you're going to spend it on. Right. Poor people always spend their money before they have it.
Right.
And that's the problem. You understand me? So the thing that we need to be trying to figure out is, what should I be doing with this time? And you should be the most productive learning something and building something.
Right.
And so I wouldn't play with the stock market, most people, because they don't have enough knowledge and information. If you don't know about future bonds, put options, you understand me, and things of that nature, and calls, and if you don't know all of that technicalities and you don't have mentors and people around you that can help give you calls and stuff like that, then don't do it. Right. Now, I do right now that I've been learning. Me and my good brother Chris Cole, we've been tapping in. And, Like today, instead of buying Apple stock and waiting for it to go up, I was able to put a put option on it. You understand me? Make $500 within an hour, sell that contract. You understand me?
Yeah.
And then double back and put a put on it for like the next 3 months. But I'm not going to explain it. I'm not the investor guy at the moment. We're going to put something together on that. Also say that, of course, this is a time that gold is going down. Buy you some gold. I just said that every black family in America should have gold. You understand me? Why? Because that's an asset. You understand me? So when we talk about wealth, wealth is when you have an abundance of assets that greatly outweigh your liabilities. When I go to those corner classes, Jay Morrison always say that. So right now, everybody should be focused on what they can do, you understand me, with their time and how they can make the most value out of it.
I agree. Everybody should be out here learning, studying, being creative, evolving into the best version of you, whether that's just meditating or whether that's just reading some how-to-do books. You know, I totally agree 100%. Time is of the essence, and we don't have any to waste.
Yeah, so, you know, it's a beautiful time, to be honest, you know, because right now we at a time where, you know, 9/11, we really wasn't prepared. Mentally, we're a little more prepared for this.
We're a little bit more prepared.
Yeah. The problem is that, like I said, leadership needs to talk to each other. Because during 9/11, the government really took that time, galvanized the people, and shaped their consciousness. You understand me? Now, of course, there was a rebellion consciousness of the government because they didn't believe what happened away.
I think this is one of those times where people are going to be more rebellious.
You know what? I want to say something because let's shift gears a little bit. We got the J Electronica album. And I mean, that dropped. Yeah, I didn't get to make the release. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it is what it is.
That was some hot fire. What you think about that J Electronica album, man? What you think about that?
Super fire.
Because you know those big old tunes, big vibrational music, man.
Yeah,
it was
super
top
high
of the
action.
line, big class. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know, very nostalgic type of. This is like a, you know, one of those songs that you play when you just, you know, big vibe and you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's just
Now,
evolution music.
Now, it was 19 years ago, the day of 9/11, Jay Z dropped a Blueprint, right? The Blueprint.
Right.
Now, during that time, he was beefing with Nas. Now, look at the juxtaposition of this, because I already talked about how the Crowns 19 and COVID-19 are basically like the opposite of each other. And now we look at Friday the 13th, you understand me, doing one of the worst pandemics in history of America. Same thing kind of like 9/11. He dropped another, essentially it's a joint album with him and Jay Electronica because of how heavily featured he is on there. And at this time, he's not fighting with and being niggas. He's being a brother with another person, and they have a collaboration album. You understand me? And I deem this to be one of the most important albums of all time. And a lot of people, they took flack with me. They said, what about Pimp a Butterfly? What about this, that, and the third? And
Butterfly.
And you have to understand the language that I use. I said the most important. We not just judging off music or lyrics or is this the greatest album of all time. That's not what I said. I said most important. Why? Because it has the ability to shift culture. I see women listening to it with their children, and Farrakhan come on, and you got Jay Z talking about righteousness. I don't even think we heard no cuss words on there. I called it quarantine music because when you break down quarantine, it's like Quran, right? Quarantine. And Quran is the revelation to teach you about separation between the believers and the disbelievers, those who have knowledge of self, those who don't. You understand me? The old world between the new world. So right now he's dropping J Electricity. He dropping it at a time where he charging the people up. And so the same way, this is going to create a new wave of rap. How these young boys was painting their nails like Young Thug and going out there super sissified. Now they want to be on Black God time like J Electronica mind.
Right.
You understand me?
know,
So
hey.
this creates a whole new wave of culture, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of people that don't like this.
Yeah.
We seen Peter Rosenberg, you know what I mean, the little sucker, was talking shit about J Electronica, talking
I
about the
saw
line
that
synagogue
on
of
Twitter.
Satan. And bruh was like, shit, that's in the Bible. You don't really want to have that conversation out loud. But he was mad. He like, nobody was liking my tweet. You see Joe Budden, he talking his shit. You understand me? Joe Budden, he one of those guys, he could never create that kind of album. So he go talk about somebody else instead of go deep dive about the lyrics and the content and what it represents.
Yeah.
He go on an effeminate route or rant about it. But every black man in America and every black woman in America should support this album. You understand me?
Whenever a Muslim man speaks highly of himself, and let alone the minister, black people you gotta rally around it, because what he's speaking in there, pure knowledge of self, big black mastery, Elijah Muhammad, Masfar Muhammad, all of the great speakers, man. Yeah. So that gave brothers like me. I'm a young cat, right? Big dog. I mean, not a young cat.
I'm a young guy too.
But you know what I'm saying, you one of my elders. So you more like an old person,
Whoa.
In the eyes of me, man, you about to touch like 30 or something.
Hey, relax. You are beside yourself.
So you getting up there in age. So a young brother like me, and I know there's plenty of others, man. I know that we can really appreciate music like this, man. Especially the brothers that's out here, claim that they conscious or woke or just aware of the the structure in America, man. Like, I really needed this, man, because it's a lot of music that that we just gotta listen to just for the sake of just listening to music, right, that we just been kind of forced to listen to, because it ain't no other music that can replace it. So this is one of those eye openers, man. Like, okay, brother can get out here and make like some real deep conscious music and really get representation behind it too. So that for me was real, pure motivation, black excellence all the way. And
that's why I say everybody should support it, because of the effect that it has on the minds of our people. But if you talking and dogging the album, then good like one of these other devils out here. You know what I'm talking about? Because the devil is one who devalues. Listen to it for the content. I don't want to hear you talk about how you didn't like a man's voice and shit like that. Right. You understand me? Because you talked about these mumble rappers for so goddamn long, and somebody say something of substance, and all you can do is talk shit and keep people away from it. So now your audience make this a bickering back and forth thing.
Right.
Instead of saying that, look how Jay came on here all righteous, and how we can utilize this to push this as an agenda for the other young men to listen to this and shape their mind.
Right.
But when you got somebody that's just fed by money, they ain't fed by that God within.
Right.
They not taking it from that concept. They not in tune with things like that. They want clickbaits. You understand me? So there's a lot of sucker celebrities out here that ain't really for the people, that don't deserve their attention the same way they ain't got no guidance for the people right now. They financial advisor probably hitting them up saying put money here, this, that, and the third. They ain't sharing that kind of information. But they want to share when they got some negative, nasty ass opinion about some black guys dropping some righteousness for the young guys to grow up into and become better men. You understand me? Because you can't really break down the content, because you ain't gonna say shit about the nation. You ain't gonna say shit about this, that, and the third. So your way of dissing it is saying that, oh, no, I'm dissing. I don't like the fact that he wait too long. It's too much Jay Z. When the hell has it ever been too much Jay Z? People mad that Jay Z goddamn did his thing on the album. I'm trying to understand. That's just sucker hate right there. They mad because he got that Jay Z feature that they couldn't get.
I saw online, man. Somebody saw Kanye West drop that Jesus is King. But Jay Z dropped something totally.
I'm not 30 though, but I'm in my 20s though.
He dropped something totally in reverse, man. It's like
nothing wrong being 30.
And then I saw it though. I'm like, damn, y'all kind of right. It seemed like, and I didn't want to just put Kanye in there on that right, because he wasn't even in the conversation. But it do seem like there is some type of discrepancy that's going on.
Yeah.
Kanye West dropping his Jesus is King. He on this big old church way. You know what I'm saying? Doing the Sunday Gospels. And then Jay Z just hit him with the Muslim flow.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that to me was like, whoa. Yeah. It's a wave, but I feel like in hip hop, it's two great forces that's colliding, but it's on,
But they collaborate.
But they collaborate also. But it's like this big old God wave that's being implemented right before our eyes.
Because this is the time. This is the time where it is on that God mode. You know what I mean? You competed as niggas. You competed as bitch ass niggas. You competed as kings, as boys. You understand me? You competed as all these other things, but you've never stepped into those real God shoes. And it's not until Farrakhan has them conversations with those guys that they start to step into them God shoes. You understand me? Kanye was calling Farrakhan sensei. You understand me? It was rumored that Jay Z met with Farrakhan. You understand me? So when we think about those things, that's why I get so much credence. You understand me? To the OG, the original God. You know what I'm talking about? And now when you look at, when they say the men that comes from Elijah Muhammad, we always say Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Mr. Louis Farrakhan, Muhammad Ali. Right. And now you get to see the men that Farrakhan made as well, which is still a part of that lineage of the men that come from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Right. And so a man can't really be great. You're not a great teacher unless you create other great teachers, unless you create other great masters. You understand me? And now you see that production of the stem from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching. We get one of the most important, one of the greatest albums of all time, was one of the top rappers in hip hop. So, of course, hip-hop started from that 5% Nation type activities. They were speaking more God in their language. And then it shifted over to that nigga music and that low frequency. Yeah. So that's why I'm not here for any criticism of it, because this is a cure. This is something our people need. This is the vaccine we really supposed to be taking. Right. You understand me? This is what's good for us, that frequency. If that's fighting the 5G frequency, if you will. Right. You understand me? So I'm extremely proud of my brother personally, and I'm happy that my good brother Jay Electronica dropped this album. We needed this. This couldn't have been a more powerful album at a time during a global pandemic, a quarantine, a crisis, and here come this brother like, I got you. And he said it took 40 days. A quarantine is 40 days. You know what I'm talking about? So I think we right and exact with this. And this brother was born September 19th, so he a 19 key. You understand me? And he dropping that heat. He was born 9/19. So, the brother got it going on, man. Yeah. That's Black God activities.
This was some dope stuff, man. I feel like it couldn't have been no better, like you said. I feel like everything is in time and on time, man. All praises due to Allah.
Hey, let me ask you a question, bro. You got a quarantine bae?
Do I got a quarantine bae?
Yeah.
I got a bae who we have, some intellectual, spiritual, cleansing, detoxifying, masterful conversations sometimes.
Okay, say that
what I'm saying? So I guess you can consider such adoration as quarantine, bae.
I like how you connected the dots on that conversation and communicated on the higher level, man. Yeah, you went to the mountaintop to scream the peak and made sure it was at the highest altitude with that one. Hey, you understand me?
But you need a quarantine.
I wasn't ready. It's like you had that written down in the poetic journal. Watch when this question hit.
Hey, do you got a quarantine, babe?
I'm working on that. You know what I mean? This is the time, listen, man, this is the time, of course, black guys that got a mission need somebody there that can help them with their vision. You know what I mean? Somebody there that can be a ride and live. I ain't gonna say a ride and die because we gonna live with this. I got a good plan. They always saying ride or die, like, damn, you gotta die.
You gotta die.
You gotta ride and live. You understand me? We gonna all die eventually, but then can we live a little bit? So yeah, I'm looking for my ride and live, man, and we gonna be super tapped in. And right now, I definitely haven't found, but I'm in observation mode. You understand me? And as a high-level observer,
man,
you understand me?
As a high-level observer, man.
I'm definitely going to put that within my 2020 vision to make sure it's tapped all the way in. But it's pandemic levels right now. So I don't know, maybe we got 19 days left to figure this thing out. So all brothers should be definitely looking for that one that they want to court tap in with and start creating different babies. You understand me? Because if black people start dying, we're going to need more babies.
Straight up.
You understand me? Let's start busting out them babies. Now I don't want y'all just having quarantine babies of women that you ain't with.
Having that quarantine sex.
Yeah, no, don't just be quarantine sexing it. You know what I'm talking about? I want you to be getting into relationships that are marriages, you know what I mean, to come to blossom out real black families. Right. If anything that can come out this time, more black families, I'm all for it.
Yeah, man. Hey, I believe in, quantum entanglement. So I believe that.
I mean, people have had corona babies before, but they was just on that corona bottle.
This the corona generation, man.
Life is like a
big baby
pack
boom.
of Coronas. You never know what you're going to get.
But I believe that whatever frequency you want, there's a woman out there on that same frequency. Y'all just have yet to cross paths. So,
absolutely. So, I wanted to make this point. There's a lot of parents that's homeschooling their children right now, or lack thereof homeschooling, but they're forced to start to take care of their children. And this is a beautiful time. My brother Derek Grace was talking about this, and he was saying this is the time you need to get to know your children. A lot of people don't know they likes and dislikes their children.
Right.
You understand me? A lot of people are babysitting their children, but not raising them. not raising them up to a standard. This is the time you should really be taking out and speaking to your children and finding out what's going on in their life. Y'all basically essentially are based both on punishment. And you got to stay home. You can't go outside, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's like, take that time to learn with your children, to educate your children. You understand me? To even give them curriculums and different sources, and think about homeschooling your children.
A lot of people don't know.
They might have to go back to the education system and get vaccines just to go back to school. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
school is out all over the country, and I hear in like 25 states. Half of the states. But that is key. You grow up your whole life, and you kind of half know your parents. Well, not half know your parents, but your parents kind of half know you. You know what I'm saying? You done experienced a lot of life, and I spoke about this once previously on one of my lives, right? And I said that, 7 hours out the day, right? Or sometimes even more, right? You wake up, you know what I'm saying? You say hi and bye to your parents, you go cook breakfast for your children, and then they going outside, or to school, you know what I'm saying, for about 8, 9 hours, 10 hours sometimes as they going through after school. So that's a whole lot of experience that you missing out with your child. Usually they only come home when it's around, 4 o'clock. So you pretty much missing out on half the day.
Right.
So throughout the span of 13 years of raising a child through school, that's like only really 7 years that you actually had time with that person. So the rest of that 6.5 years, they could have totally adapted a whole new lifestyle that you have yet to see, because, a lot of times, our parents, just don't really take the time out to necessarily, pull out some of that information. They only on the parenting side.
What do you think? What was something that you think mom and dad could have done early in your years to help you get to just a higher level of knowing who you are? Like, I heard something Derek said. He said something pivotal, like, and this is something that I always ask people, instead of asking like, what do you do, asking people, who are you? And a lot of people, they're trying to help their children figure out what job they want, what career they want, but they never tell them about like figuring out your purpose and the impact that you want to make on this life. They importancize a job more than that child's purpose and their gifts that they can unwrap. And they make the gifts seem like they're more so unrealistic, when that's all the child wants to do is unwrap their gifts.
All right.
You understand me?
So I think, some things that my parents could have did, right?
Our parents. Some
things that our parents, because me and Big Key's big brothers. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the big brother. And
we,
you
we ain't we you know what I'm saying?
You just said I was elder. Nah, I ain't elder.
Hey, we big brothers. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but I think, to be honest, I think our parents did a great job. I think that in terms of creating an environment of knowledge of self, I think that they did an impeccable job. Sometimes I feel like, I think too highly of myself, and that I got to come down a little bit just to think realistically in terms of reality. So I think, and a lot of times there's people around the world who don't really get that type of, just rearing as a child. They don't understand.
So what was the most pivotal thing that mom taught you?
Who I was. And
who are you?
I'm Saman Akutar Farar Muhammad, but even that has a deeper,
What does Saman mean?
Independence. The independent of abundance of good. That's what my name means.
Independent abundance of good. You understand me? What does that mean to you?
That means that, in layman's language, I feel like that means that I have to bring something original to the world.
An independent abundance of good.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. I never knew that.
Something the world has never seen before, and it's up to me to cultivate that and give it and, put it into fruition.
All right. So, being a man, right? A man is really about those characteristics that you develop, right? During this time, a lot of people, manhood is being tested. A lot of people are afraid. And there's nothing wrong with being afraid, but you have to have courage. You have to act in the face of fear. You have to be a courageous man. So one of those things of manhood is when you start to develop courage. When you get that gut in your stomach, but you still push forward. You understand me? That type of courage is what we need today. But you have to be able to manage your fear in order to be able to push past it so that you can be courageous. So when I look at that word manage, of course, I broke that down to man age. And you at that man age when you can develop a management of yourself. When you have authority over those things to manage yourself well so you can get to those set obligation and goals. Same thing in business. When you can manage your business, then you're doing business well. So in life, whether it's, your fears, your finances, your family, you understand me, your health, dressing yourself, you understand me, cleaning yourself. Every time you learn how to manage that for yourself at a high executive level, you become a man at that. Now, man means mind, so that means that now you can mind that for yourself. But when you can't manage that for yourself, you need somebody else's mind to do that for you, i.e. your caretaker, your mother, your father, right? So me, I remember it was like I never lied to myself about when I became a man. I never said that, oh, now I'm a man because I feel like this, or I'm out this house, or I'm making this money. No. I waited till I felt like I was managing my life at a particular point in time. And it was like, oh, I'm a man now.
Right.
You understand me? At what point in time do you think you felt like you was a man? Or do you feel like you still are developing to manage that correctly?
The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we don't reach peak maturity until the age of 70. And that kind of stuck with me because I know that I like to look at myself in a high degree. I can't help but to do it. I'm black man is God.
Big God activities. But I like to understand, myself and how I think also. And I can realize that I have immature qualities about myself. Some ways that I make decisions, some ways that I think irrationally. Those are all, and I like to be proactive about my thoughts. I can think from a third person point of view sometimes and kind of sit back and realize what I'm thinking. Am I thinking critical? Am I thinking logical? Am I being reasonable right now as I'm making this observation about myself? So with that being said, I don't think that I think that I tapped into my full potential in that regard because, I call myself a God, but that's because I know that I'm a God, and I know the potential that I have, and I know that I can create on a high level. But when it comes to saying that, are you fully tapped into yourself? No. I think once you call yourself and you give yourself a title, then you just at ease with that title. You feel like it ain't no room to grow. So when I do give myself such titles, it's going to be where I want to be at, period, with my full growth. And probably it won't even ever happen until I die because I see myself as constantly growing up, ever evolving, like time is going to keep on going. So I have to be in line with that time in order to be the best version of myself and step into the divine. I mean that. Yes, sir. Thank you for that answer. I think we definitely got into it with this one. You understand me? I'm sure there's a lot that I wish we covered, but we'll figure that out later on.
Hey, let's get into some of the health. Let's get into a little bit of sector of the health for the corona.
All right. For the corona health.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about this. The triple dimension I hit people with. Now, of course, when they said 1918 during that pandemic, right? They said that there was, and of course that had coincided with other electromagnetic frequencies and developments the same way corona is doing today. Matter of fact, what was that? I had that in my notes. I have so much stuff that I'm researching and doing right now.
Big guy recommend those ginger shots. Get on that water, start thinking better and clearer and staying focused and maintaining an all around, good sense of self. Learning is very key to cleaning your mind. I like to look at, stepping into the sun as a way of me, meditating without having to sit still. Also meditating, get in tune with your mind, body, and spirit. A lot of people overlook how this goes into plays of just everyday life. But once your mind becomes balanced, once your mind gets to flowing like water, then the currency starts to pick up on that flow. And the vibration starts to, and channel and get on the same path. So it's an all-around thing. Once your mind is broke, then what do you think your pockets is going to look like? Right. What do you think that the outcome of your actions is going to look like? If you're making broke, irrational decisions, then you're going to have a broke, irrational outcome after those things. So we got to get our health together as a people. We've been eating too much pork. We've been eating too much dairy products. We've been eating too much meat all around. So our people is a naive people. Like I said earlier, we are very rebellious until things hit home. Sometimes it got to hit us directly for us to even understand that we need to make drastic changes, because it's not that diseases run in the family, but certain characteristics and functions run in the family. You know, we eat too much meat. Period. We eat too much chemicals. Like you say, we're over-chemicalized society and an under-mineralized society. And I think that's pretty dope. So we got to get back in line. Drink on that water.
Yeah, I mean, so health, of course, starts right there in the rising. A lot of us, our biological rhythm is not in tune with the earth, in tune with nature. I mean, and a lot of people are going to realize that they're stuck between, you know, the artificial time, right? So they're on their job's time, the time that I have to get up, I have to be to work. Now, this is a time where their body gets to be re-entrained to the normal cycle. I would suggest that people, for one, keep their windows open. Don't use any blinds. Allow the sun to wake you up. It naturally allows your body to start to be back in sync with that 24-hour rhythm. Now, that is best for optimization of your own immune system as well, to even be able to fight off different viruses. So we talk about so much things, but immunology is not being stated by anyone as if it even matters, as if our bodies are not supposed to protect themselves, or as if our gut microbes and getting sleep and eating foods are not ways that we resist viruses and germs and bacteria every single day. You understand me now? So waking up in the morning and getting that meditation in, getting you at least 19 minutes of meditation in every single day, that's more important than ever right now. Ever. When I wake up, I got to get something, because we in crisis time to where it's so much going on. I need to be anchored to where I can feel like I can handle everything. But if you in the midst of a storm like we are right now, and you don't have an anchor set, then you're moving everywhere. You hear something like this is pulling you, hear something like that is pulling you. You need an anchor to where you can at least have stability. You know what I mean? To where your mind can be focused and you have enough psyche energy to deal with anything that comes at you. Right. You know what I mean? So that meditation is going to be a key point to where a lot of people are not going to understand that balance between that left and right brain. You understand me? And if you don't want to do it, then it's a key sign that you need to do it even more, because you're fighting against your ability to sit still. Right. Sleeping shouldn't be the only time you sit still, and some people wrestle in their sleep. You understand me? So we need to definitely meditate. That's very important. Practice breathing, prana breathing, bandha, which means locks. Your body has particular locks on it. Right. Look that up. Understand what that means. Take time to cultivate better habits right now. Drink a lot more water, as you say. You understand me? Continue to stay clear and focus on your objectives throughout the day. Do not overindulge in content. Content thinks for you when you overindulge in it. You understand me? So you only have so much decision-making power per day. When you wake up, it's like a battery. As soon as you wake up, it can start going down. So here you are consuming content. Your battery is going down. Now what's in your mind is just that content. Now that's all you have to cycle and recycle and think for the day. So now you can't focus on that goal. Concentration and passion is how you get to manifestation. Concentration is being able to focus for a prolonged period of time. Right. The average person cannot sit for 19 minutes by themselves. So a lot of people are afraid of this idea to practice social distancing. Now, I don't believe in I hate paradigm words that come from them and we start utilizing them. You understand me? So I would definitely figure out another word to where that we can utilize even during these times, and not taking on society paradigm words that they give us, that they can impregnate meaning into and control people with that. So no, this can be a time where you actually practice more communication. Because when people don't share their thoughts, and that's easier way for governments to be able to control people. Yeah. Like, no, don't talk to each other. It's kind of like a classroom. Don't talk to each other. Don't share answers and information. Don't share thoughts on the ideas about these things. If it don't make sense, no, socially distance yourself from other people. Just consume content that's fear-based, that have you panicking and crazy to where you can never think, and by the time it's too late, we got your monkey brain in control. This is a time where black people can actually spend time getting to know each other and build with each other. So it depends on how you look at everything that you go through. So foods, of course, focus on foods that are health foods and not death foods. Yeah. You know what I mean? Foods that are anti-inflammatory, foods that help you replenish your system. You understand me? Now, how do you know if the food is good for you? If the nature didn't make it, then it ain't good for the greatest creation within nature, which would be the human body. You understand me? So if you go put the right gas in your car, put the right gas in your body. You understand me? You want to make sure you got the best charger for your phone. You don't want to go get those generic ones because you know that they go break. Well, that's the same thing happening with your body. You have to have the proper voltage and electricity so that you can be optimally performing like a young black god like you're supposed to. You know what I'm talking about?
You know, preparation leads away desperation. In times of need, we need to be prepared. We need to be prepared for anything, especially when we in a country that we were forced to get into.
Yes, sir.
So from the beginning, we should already be proactive as a people and being able to make critical decisions at any time's notice, you know. So that's one of the teachings that I appreciate the Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad for enforcing that.
Man, key point. And we can end on this point. That's important.
Enforcing that, you know, he was big Muslim energy when it came to, you know, being prepared, because you don't know what state that this country can turn into overnight. And this is one of those stages that we kind of prepared our whole lives for.
Yeah.
So, you know, if anybody going to reap
for
the
the fall of America,
you know, it's us.
You know, they tell us to eat the Navy bean. You understand me? Eat 1 meal a day. Have the ability to be able to can your goods. A lot of people, they were saying, well, why would I get fruits and vegetables? They're going to perish away. Well, when you go buy meat, what do you have to do? Put it in the freezer. Otherwise, it will go bad very quick.
Man,
you can also learn canning techniques. We are in the Google era. There is no excuse for ignorance but the fact that you choose it. You understand me? So the question becomes is, are you choosing to take the knowledgeable route? People DM me all of the time and ask me questions they could have Googled.
Man, with all this knowledge at hand, man, ignorance is a choice.
Yeah.
It is a sound decision that we make.
Eat right, think right, do right, be right. You understand me? It's all supposed to lead you into the right, righteous direction. And that's where we're going right now. But I want people to think about the changing industries and the changing of the guards, right? A lot of businesses can't service their employees. Now, if you start thinking about businesses post this particular era, people are going to be a lot more health conscious after this. You understand me? So businesses that benefit from creating more sanitary provisions for people, gloves, think about how your brands can start doing things of that nature, soaps, all of these different things are going to be in a higher demand as people don't want to reset of the current reality that they're faced with. So that's just a thought process that people can start thinking a little ahead of the curve. You understand me? And figuring out how they can get into these industries. You might not even trust these big companies once you get out of them. You might not trust Uber anymore. If there's a case that come out and say the Uber driver coughed on somebody and gave them coronavirus because he was riding with 19 different people, then you gonna be like, shit, I don't want to hop into Uber no more. They stocks tanked. I got some brothers out in Philly. They do Black and Mobile. You might not want to get Uber Eats. You might not trust them. This is a time where you want to go to who you trust the most. Who you trust the most. So that's why I always teach people about branding, because branding creates trust. Being a thought leader for your brand creates trust. So when a person thinks pandemic levels, which brands do I go to? They picking the ones they trust the most because they feel like they're lowering their risk. You understand me? And if you can lower people's risk, especially during this time, and alleviate some of their stress, that's almost therapeutic levels of business model. You understand me? So think about the hospitality model. Check up on your customers. Think about what they're missing without them even having to tell you. You understand me? This is the most important time to actually form relationships. And it's funny because this is what I'm thinking about right now. You understand me? It's like, this is a time where you really check up on your peoples. Ask them how they doing. They've been buying from you all year. I'm about to make sure that we set out some emails and even call some of our customers to be like, how you doing? How you dealing with this? How's your mind? How's your health? That appreciation can go a long way. You got time right now to call every single customer that ever bought from you. You understand me?
Damn, you know what I'm saying? Have you drunk on that water? How you feeling today, beloved? Like, what's going on? Have you know what I'm
Y'all
saying?
Y'all gonna have to watch the full thing on High Level Conversations.
You know, all that.
Peace. They getting too much game right now.
A whole lot of inside scoop on the live, man. You out here going live.
They was getting too much. I had to cut him off.
You know.
You understand me? Now we about to close it out, man. You know we always close it out. You ask me a question, I ask you a question, and we can go from there. But the rest, man, the best time to ask any entrepreneur question is during the consultation. You understand me? That was just a little sidebar for my consultation. Click the link in the bio.
All day long. Let me see. Black man.
Any question?
You know,
and before I get, this is the Pop Plot by Dr. Wesley, man. The 800-pound gorilla. Make sure y'all tap in the Black Law Dictionary.
You just kind of put me on the spot to ask the question.
Whatever you want to ask, brother.
All right, I got a question.
All right.
How do you view? Well, when do you think you're gonna retire?
Never. Life is about the journey, not the destination. I told you this earlier that, to me it ain't about making money, none of that. It's about the thrill of, being alive and feeling alive by doing something. You understand me? Like, at a particular point in time where I made a particular amount of money, I thought that making that money was gonna give me this feeling. And it didn't. And I realized that it was the thrill of going on that journey and producing that outcome from thought into reality that I was really chasing. That was giving me the adrenaline. That was allowing me to be excited for it every single day. There's never ever going to be a time where I don't want to move. As we already know, my favorite quote is, life is about the measurement of motion. You run out of moves, you run out of time, only dead men don't move. So for me, I won't retire. You understand me? I'm here forever. I'm going to keep on going. Pops be around here running the streets like he young. You understand me? He stay on the move. That lets me know my capability and where I want to be for the rest of my life.
Stuff.
Now, of course, as you say, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, what he say, the mind don't mature until the age of 70. The thought process that I have right now in my 20s will not be the same that I have in my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, my 60s, my 70s. I'm coming into more realization of who I am and the role that I play on this planet Earth. And it's very powerful and it's very deeply connected. And everybody won't see who you are, but some people do. Those some people are the greatest gift that you can ever have. You understand me? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Master Fawad Muhammad, he basically said, I see you. I know you the one that was prophesied about or whatever. Yeah. You understand me? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that same gift of observation to him.
That must have been a dope thing to be recognized from God in person and be like, hey, you the next one.
So the goal becomes, can you see yourself? I mean, how many people can look in the mirror and say, I see God?
But the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you thought that he recognized himself before he was like divinely recognized? Do you think that?
I think there's a feeling that we have that draws us, right? But we have to mature upon and do something that validates that feeling, because it has to be steeped in experience. Otherwise, it's like you don't know it. You have information about yourself almost.
Right.
But once you do things, and you may think that a person really realized it, but it may be way later that you think that they really realize who they are.
It's about proving that feeling also. You
gotta show the world.
And it's not even about speaking on it. It's just about proving it. So that way you just project that energy, that your thought is projected without you even speaking it. So I think that, like, to answer my own question, I feel like you said, it's the energy, it's the proven aspect, to project your thought without even having to, speak on it.
Yeah, that potential energy that you have the ability to make kinetic.
Yeah.
If you can make that energy kinetic to where exists, potential energy is a ball at rest.
Yeah.
But once you kick it, then that kinetic energy flings.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to get in motion, because if a man ain't in motion, if the man ain't working, he not a man.
It's like being an overachiever at a job. You trying to get recognized, so you just doing more work, you know what I'm saying, gaining more knowledge. And then ultimately, you might get promoted.
The goal is to be effective, though. Because sometimes we get stuck at doing what we're good at instead of doing what will make us better. You understand me? What will give us better and higher results. So for me, it's about like...
I feel like, you're right about that. It's about being effective in areas that you know. But sometimes, like you say, people can get stuck on those effective areas and they get scared to venture out. Mm-hmm. But in order to stretch, you gotta, in order to grow, you gotta stretch those muscles.
Yeah.
Sometimes those muscles you ain't used in years,
Well, a lot of people are afraid to try a new set.
Yeah.
They good at the 20s. Good
I know how
30s.
to do push-ups, but sometimes my legs hurt when I do squats.
Sometimes I got to put that 100-pound on and do some pull-ups. Just to prove to myself that I'm a god.
Exactly.
You understand me? Why? And I've been like that my whole life. They say don't touch those gonna hurt you. Man, that's for regular men. That ain't for me. Don't give me regular man caution. I'm not a regular man. Yeah. You understand me? Give me God caution. That ain't how God move. God moves smart, but you can't tell God what he can't do.
That's how you motivate men.
Somebody tell me what I can't do. I live for those moments, but I got to a point where nobody tells me like, you can't do that.
That's how you motivate
I don't get
men,
people that doubt me
by telling us what we can't do. Now we want to go be hard headed and try it.
Man, you doubt me, I'm gonna slap your ass in the face with results.
You say I can't. Hey, watch me do it.
Yeah, big guy energy.
Big
Anyway,
guy
man,
energy.
listen, man.
Tap in.
I enjoyed this conversation. This was a great show for people to be able to enhance their intellect. I think we're gonna make it a little dangerous next time. You understand me? And I mean by that, like, we're really gonna dive into some topics. You understand me? Relationship, sexuality, power, white supremacy, AI. Like, we're really gonna break this shit down. You understand me? Because I think we're at this point of polarization where people can take the unfiltered, unadulterated, complete slap you in the face truth. And there's some things that people need to face and see themselves through. The way that we eat, the drugs that we take in, the relationships that we have, the way that we see the world, you understand me? The way that we observe ourselves, our responsibilities that we have towards our women, the conditions that we have to look ourselves in the mirror and know what we're guilty of and how to alleviate that guilt by doing better. You understand me? Like, there's a lot of stuff in society. And I see a lot of people showing their colors during this time, and people just got to be called out. You understand me? And this is going to be a time where you see people showing you like, damn, I was really a fan of that person. That's how they think. People are going to start showing their minds.
That's why,
and then when you see their minds, it's really gonna look like they ass.
That's why, I push being as transparent as possible, man. So therefore, there's nothing new that people can see about you. Sometimes you got to be raw and unfiltered, so people know.
With that.
So people know the worst version of you, but also they can only see it from the best version, from that lens. It's like once you look inside the window, you know what's going on inside the house. So therefore, anything in the house can't surprise you.
Yeah.
So always
that glass house tactic.
It's that glass house tactic. But anybody throwing rocks, man. We just throwing water, so we can just,
Let me ask you this last question before we go. Do you believe in aliens?
I believe that we're already in the presence of aliens. I believe that the black man is the original man on this planet, and I believe that anybody else is an alien.
I mean that.
Yes, sir.
Or maybe we are aliens and everybody else, the inhabitants.
I got a couple of theories, but that's my foundation on the theories, right?
Yeah, I mean, what J Electronica say? You can bring back the tribe of Shabazz, the Anunnaki, something like that. He broke it down something real smooth, man. And I seen something in science, and they said that basically if human beings were to live in space, they'd be dark-skinned, skinny people with big-ass heads. Man. You understand me? And I'm like, oh, well, we already knew that shit.
We already knew that. Hey, big guy in the
melanated and elevated. Listen, man. This has been another episode of High Level Conversations. I'm with my bro. You understand me? Jackhella Classic, man. You want to say anything before we go?
Hey, people, y'all out there, stay prepared, because we live in times where anything could be implemented. We are under a government that we shouldn't even be under in the first place. So therefore, in times like this, go out and go grab you some of that water. Go get you some of that fruit, even if you got to go freeze it. Get you some of those vegetables. Get you some of those vitamins. Get you some of that sunlight. But at the end of this, come out sharper than when you came in. So with that being said, Jackhella Classic, we outside like trees. Stay close, stay focused. And the rest.
And drink on that gold water. I want to say something to the young guys out there. Brace yourself for what's to come. Young sisters, brace yourself for what's to come. Not just in this next 3-month stretch, but for the rest of your life. You understand me? Whether you're in Africa, you're in London, you're in Brazil, you're in America. I know there's people from all over that watch this. And we've been taught time and time to worship everything else but to see ourselves in God and to see ourselves as God. And for a lot of people, that hits and that triggers them because they've been taught about other deities to worship. Key word, you've been taught. You didn't develop into the nature of understanding yourself and to where that became your indoctrination and your tradition. You've been taught. Everything is through programming. You can say no, you can say yes. You can question, you can get answer. The question becomes, though, who is the original people on this planet Earth? Do your origin trace root and realize that you will come from scholars and scientists and builders and kings and queens and emperors. You understand me? Inventors from the greatest people on the planet Earth. You are the one that everything comes from. That's why they fight so hard to keep you in a position subservient to those who don't want you to know yourself. So the development of knowledge of self allows you to evolve components of yourself where you can take over everything in your atmosphere. You understand me? You can crack the atoms around you. So I'm 19 Keys letting you know that you're a guide each and every episode. Tap in and make sure y'all have some high level conversations and quit talking about that dumb shit.